Adolf Hitler, early life and background. In 1889, in a small Austrian town called Braun am Inn, a child was born. His name was Adolf Hitler. Born into an ordinary family, his father was a strict customs officer, while his mother was a gentle and caring woman. From an early age, Hitler dreamed of becoming an artist. He loved drawing and painting. Twice he applied to the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. Twice he was rejected. This rejection left a deep wound in his soul, one that would later transform into anger, hatred, and revenge. World War I and political beginning. When the First World War began in 1914, Hitler volunteered to serve in the German army. He fought bravely, was wounded, and decorated for his service. But when the war ended, Germany was defeated. The Treaty of Versailles imposed harsh punishments: loss of land, heavy reparations, and a crippled army. For Hitler, this was humiliation. He vowed that one day he would restore Germany's pride and power. The Nazi Party and rise to power. After the war, Germany was in chaos, poverty, unemployment, and political instability. Amid this turmoil, Hitler joined the Nazi Party. His fiery speeches and powerful propaganda quickly made him the party's central figure. In 1923, he attempted to overthrow the government in the beer hall putsch. It failed, and Hitler was sent to prison. In prison, he wrote his infamous book, Mein Kampf, My Struggle. In it, he outlined his vision: the supremacy of the Aryan race, hatred of Jews, opposition to communism, and the need for more living space, or Lebensraum, for the German people. By 1933, Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. Within months, he eliminated opposition and became the nation's absolute dictator. Hitler's ideology and propaganda. Hitler's ideology was built on racial superiority. He believed only the Aryan race was destined to rule. Jews, in his eyes, were the root of all evil, responsible for Germany's economic problems, its defeat in war, and even the decay of society. Through relentless propaganda, radio, newspapers, films, and mass rallies, Hitler poisoned the minds of millions. Germans began to see him not just as a leader, but as a savior. The outbreak of World War II. CTU. On September 1, 1939, Hitler invaded Poland. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war on Germany. The Second World War had begun. In the early years, Hitler's armies swept through Europe with incredible speed. France fell. Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, all came under German control. Hitler's Blitzkrieg, or Lightning War, shocked the world. For a time, it seemed that nothing could stop him. The Holocaust, a genocide in history. But Hitler's darkest legacy was not just war, it was genocide. The Holocaust. Over 6 million Jews were systematically murdered. They were forced into ghettos, starved, sent to concentration camps, and killed in gas chambers. It was not only Jews, Roma, Gypsies, disabled people, political dissidents, and countless others perished. The Holocaust remains one of humanity's darkest chapters, a symbol of what hatred and racism can unleash. Hitler's personality and private life. Beyond the public image, Hitler's personal life was filled with contradictions. He was charismatic in speeches, yet often insecure in private. He loved art, architecture, and animals, yet ordered the deaths of millions. In his final days, he married Eva Braun, his longtime companion. But just hours later, both would take their own lives. The fall of the Third Reich. By 1941, Hitler made a fatal mistake: invading the Soviet Union. His armies were unprepared for the Russian winter and the fierce resistance they encountered. In 1944, Allied forces landed in Normandy, liberating France. By 1945, Soviet troops were closing in on Berlin. On April 30, 1945, inside a bunker beneath the ruined city, Adolf Hitler ended his life. Days later, Germany surrendered. The war in Europe was over. Legacy and lessons. Adolf Hitler's rule left behind unimaginable destruction. Over 70 million people died in the Second World War. Cities lay in ruins. Humanity witnessed the horrors of atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But from this devastation came a determination: never again. The United Nations was formed to prevent another global war. Hitler's story is not just history. It is a warning, a reminder that unchecked hatred, racism, and the lust for power can destroy nations and humanity itself. Closing words. Adolf Hitler, a failed artist who became a dictator, a man whose ambitions set the world on fire. His name is forever etched in history, not as a hero, but as a symbol of tyranny and destruction. His life teaches us one eternal lesson: when hatred is allowed to rule, humanity itself becomes the victim.